If you can list and sell one house, you can list and sell 100 homes. Is skill overrated?
Here's what I've learned. The best of the best have got the following. What's your goal for the next 6 months?
Mark McLeod has been in real estate for 30 years. He's a consultant, auctioneer, business owner. He's got a great helicopter view of real estate. He's also the CEO of growth for the Ray White Group. And he's an advocate of change. Now this person sees what works and what doesn't work. Let's go and meet Mark McLeod. There's a lot of people that go out there, do training, coaching and speaking, but I've got to tell you, form is temporary, class is permanent, and this guy's been around a long time. He's been in real estate 30 years. His audio meets his video. He knows his stuff. Mark McLeod, the Chief Executive of Growth of Ray White. How are you, Mark?
I'm very well, Tom. How are you?
Good, mate. I've got to say, I meet a lot of agents, I meet a lot of speakers, trainers. The bottom line is that you've been doing this for a long time. You've got a great You've got one of the best views in the country on what not to do, what to do, and I'd love to sort of dwell into the mindset of 30 years you analysing real estate. Mark, one of the things I heard you say at a conference was that you believe skill's overrated. What do you mean by that? Everyone says, no, you've got to be a skilled operator. What do you mean by that? I didn't hear the whole thing.
I don't mean that skill's not important, but it's overrated. If you have a look at the way a real estate business, whether it's an agency or an agent runs, there are some fundamental components. We believe that there's 6, there's database, pipeline, stock management, an after-sales program, obviously community and marketing is a big role, and ancillary products, property management and loan market, or in our case. If you break down each of those divisions are filled with tasks. I go and door knock, I go and make phone calls, I follow up, I do all the things that a good agent does. It doesn't really require much skill at all. It requires discipline. It requires, I think, the most underrated commodity in our industry, which is consistency. And it requires empathy of the role that we play in our communities, And I see young people who are just disciplined, they follow the tasks, they do the job in front of them, they play the ball in front of them, and they perform at unbelievable levels. I would rather have somebody who was task orientated and disciplined than someone with skill who didn't have those two commodities.
You said to me, Mark, off camera, just before we started, that you see people that have been doing it for 2-3 years and they're smashing it, and you see people that have been doing it for 20 years and they're not smashing it.
Our research shows that about 80% of the industry their business will peak around year 3 to 4.
Right.
So most people in the industry for year 3 or 4, their business will rise and then it will plateau. And it will plateau because they haven't built a strong enough foundation to push them through the different categories. And 2 things come into play there. One, I do think that skill has capacity. What I mean by that is if I can sell 1 home, I can sell 10 homes. If I can sell 10 homes, I can sell 100 homes. But the ability to sell a home has no relationship to the ability to build a real estate business. And anyone can do a one-off sale, but whether you have the understanding to build a business in the art of selling real estate is completely different to the art of selling that.
Okay, and when you're talking about building a business, for all our viewers, you're not necessarily talking about building a real estate office.
You're talking an agent.
An agent.
Single agent or agency. Or let's, for the purpose of this discussion, talk about an agent. For me, if you think about our business, you would think that longevity in a marketplace, that you would see continual growth over a period of time. Let's take Sydney for where we are today. The value of the property's virtually doubled.
Yeah.
You've seen someone who's in a marketplace that's been touching 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 people every Saturday. But still these businesses plateau. You give them a good auction, they'll sell a house every day of the week. Plenty of skill, but they don't have the understanding to build a good real estate business. You have to understand capacity. You have to understand what capacity does to your business.
What capacity, what does that mean? That concludes the free part of the video. Of course, our real estate gym members don't only get, these highlights, but they're getting everything you need to do to build a world-class business. Systems, processes, letters, forms, templates, and of course, a consistency of contact with me through webinars, through daily contact. And you know what? Let's face it, it's what you do every day that really matters. Realestategym.com.au, less than $10 a week.